All right, guys, here we go. I have it in the shop, started tearing it down, and I'm about to start tearing all the suspension off, getting the hubs off and everything ready for the bearings and seals and the lift kit. The motor, I have the clutch cover off. Belt's actually in pretty decent shape, it looks like. All this might just clean it. The air filter is pretty nasty. Oh, I keep dropping that. The air box is disgusting for sure. Gonna do valves. Gonna fix anything I find that is wrong. Any rust, I think I'm gonna go ahead and hit with paint. Make it really nice for them. I have to tear down the rear suspension, get all the hubs fixed up on those. As you can see, look how bad that is. Yep, it's very bad. All of them are just like that. So hopefully it doesn't need bushings and stuff. Those are generally pretty, on these Yamahas, they don't wear like a lot of the other bikes. I'm gonna have to add a little bushing in here for this because that's not even there anymore. Got a new spark plug, oil filter, air filter, all that. Yep, we're gonna get it going. It's gonna be really cool when it's done. Might even Rhino line the front rack, and maybe even the bed, possibly. We'll see. If I have enough Rhino line for that, I might do that. We'll see what's up. But anyway, I'll get more footage as we move along. All right, guys, moving right along with the build. I've got all the A-arms and shocks removed, spindles removed, started on the brakes. Got some pads sitting up here. So, yep, made some progress real quick. Got the spark plug changed out, and I went ahead and tested this here new compression tester I got from Harbor Freight. I had to swap my other one out, and I think my gauge was messed up. But this motor has right over 90 psi, so it's good to go. So that's really good that the motor has great compression. I'm also sitting over here right now with crowbars supporting the motor because I've got motor mounts taken out of it. So this side, the driver's sides, two are missing. I'm about to put the new ones in it. The other two, I have all the bolts removed. Here are the two I've removed, and I want y'all to check these out. Look at that. That's what the motor was sitting on, just sitting together like that. Had no support, and it was just flopping around. So, and here's our bearings for our hubs, our seals. You have, each hub has a seal on each end, and it has two bearings. So the place I ordered them from didn't send for the bearings, so they just sent those out today, and hopefully they'll get here soon. I got the ball joints here. Those will go in the hubs. I got one of them sitting here. The bearings are just shot, guys. Look at that. They are shot. I mean, I can barely move it with my hand. So the ball joints, we're going to change them, like I said, get the brakes done. And once the suspension is ready to go back on, I'll paint the frame up and throw the lift kit on, and then we can move on from there. So I'll get some more when we get moving on that. All right, as you can see, the new motor mounts are in. Wasn't too difficult. You had to use a lot of pry bars and whatnot, but I put them in there and didn't have any bolts in them, and just put the little nuts on the bottom of them so they wouldn't pull out or anything. And then I was able to just kind of go around corner to corner and lift it up and down with pry bars and get these bolts started and tightened down. So it actually wasn't too bad of a job to get this thing shored back up. So now the motor, there's the exhaust, remember? It doesn't move anymore. It moves the whole machine, almost knocked it off the jack stands. So motor mounts are good to go. Moving on to the next section, which will be ball joints, bearings, and seals. So here we go. I just removed this seal from the inner side of this hub, and then this was kind of just flopped in there. That's the seal for the bearing. And as I pulled that out, check the bearing out. Look at that. I don't know where the rest is. Must have flown out at some point or disintegrated in there. But I don't know how they were driving on that. Yeah, it's gone. It's disintegrated. Look at all that metal in there. Oh man. Okay, I bet all of them are like that. Let's see. All right, guys, check it out. I got the front end all put back together with all the new hardware, ball joints, bearing seals, pads. I took the calipers off, cleaned them all up, bled all the fluid out of the system, put all new .4. Got the shocks mounted up to the new bracket lift that's right here. As you can see, it is cut out to fit the perch here, which is helping with strength. So that's all done. Everything's tightened up, ready to go. I'm about to throw the front tires on, and we'll see if it'll turn left and right. Hopefully it doesn't rub. Next, I got to get this rear done. The bearings just came in today, so I'll be throwing those in a minute. I got all the fluids done, front diff, rear diff, oil changed, filter, everything. So got the air box over outside soaking in some soapy water. So once that's cleaned up, we will get it thrown on and then throw these bearings in the new hubs, in the rear hubs. And then we have, these are the old brake pads. Check these out. They were ate up. All of them look like that. So good thing we changed those. And then we'll start moving on to the winch and getting that all wired up and put in place. So I'll come back when we get to that. All right, guys, check out Rhino 2.0 here. Got the 30-inch silver backs installed on the Rhino. I've already driven it down the road and settled into the suspension, and we have 15 inches of ground clearance in the front and 15.5 in the rear. I did go ahead and throw on the snorkels. I just left the stock stuff. I'm not going to snorkel it. Cleaned up the belt box and all. Threw that back on. All this is done up here. Ran a different breather line here and just looped it. Uni air filters installed and oiled up. I mounted up the parking brake. It wasn't mounted before. So now I get to run the winch, mount all that up, and run all the wires to the dash for that. That's what's next. The rear is a little stiff, and I have noticed how close this axle is to this rear shock, and actually the boot is riding on where the shock mount is, not the bolt, the shock mount back here. I don't know if it's always been doing that, or I don't think the lift caused that, because I didn't move this any. The lower A-arms are where they were factory, other than it being higher. So that might be it, which pulled this closer to it probably. So definitely I wouldn't be putting that spring spacer kit on here. It easily fits these 30s with just this bracket lift, front and rear. And I couldn't even imagine, it's already so stiff that, I mean, if you were to put that spring spacer in there, you'd be riding like you were on just pipes instead of actual shocks, like it was solid suspension. But anyway, so next is, like I said, the winch. I'll get busy on that and get the switch installed, put the winch on, get all the bumper all painted up, and start throwing the plastics on, and I'll come back when I start doing that.